Have you ever wondered what it takes to win one of the biggest, most important chess tournaments? In this video, I take you through the winner's journey. How did Daniil Dubov, a top Russian chess grandmaster, win the World Rapid back in 2018? At the end, you will find out what he scored out of 15. Let's introduce the player. He is from Russia. He has a FIDE Rapid rating of 2770, currently at world number 12. He is well known for being one of the seconds to Magnus Carlsen. He worked with Magnus, preparing him for the last World Championship match. At the time, he was 22 years old. Timestamps are below for you to jump around the video. At the end of each game, I'll quickly summarize it to make sure you have learned a few key points from each game. If it's your first time here, hello, my name is William. And for any Russian speakers watching, Privyet, меня зовут William. It's the World Rapid, 15 rounds. Let's see what happened. In round 1, Dubov beat Magnus, Iranian Grandmaster. Now on to round 2. He faces Jumabayev. Let's see what happened. c4 e5, we have the English opening with g3 and bishop c5 already targeting f2, and let's check out what happens. Dubov now plays knight f3 to attack the pawn, e4, knight g5, already a very strange position. This hasn't happened before, and Jumabayev goes nuts. Bishop takes f2 check, knight g4 check, and then he gets his piece back. But after knight takes e4, even though white cannot castle, I really like white's position. Bishop g2, and then d4. You're going to kick this knight away. White has the center, so let's see how white manages to unravel. d6, bishop f4, knight c3, retreating the knight, so then we got a couple of options. The knight can go to d5, pawn can go to e4, queen d2, rook f1, rook e1. White is slowly getting out. Queen d2, even h3 as well, just to kick the knight away. Rook e1, h3, and e4. What a dream position for white. Get the king out the way, rook f1, and it really is a perfect position. Bishop back to c8. Black, he's got all his pieces out, but he's just waiting for white to create a pawn break. d5, e5, c5, or just slowly build. You just have a wonderful position. So he builds this way, g4, getting more space. Knight e5, really cool tactic here. White now just gets out of the way with queen e2. If take, then really there's no advantage for white anymore. Get the queen out of the way, take. No advantage. So it's a cool move, knight e5, but get the queen off the d file. Knight c6, a repetition, and rook d1. King h8, black is just playing the waiting game. Queen f3, rook d7, rook e1. Absolute dream position. All these pawns working in white's favor, couple of bishops, perfect rooks. How does white build this position? Well, let's go knight d5. Now we get this central mass, and e5, crashing through the center. Queen g3, defending your center with bishop, queen, pawn, and the rook. Knight b6 and bishop e4. This queen is running out of squares. The red arrows show all the squares the queen cannot go to. f5 has to be played. Take, queen takes g3 check. You can't play bishop f5 because queen takes queen. After f5, take. Knight back to d7, putting pressure. Push, bishop h4, really cool move. Pinning the knight and just getting that knight off. And then you've just got this perfect situation. Everything is defended by the bishop. It's just a total crush. Rook c1, get the file. Get rid of that knight, and if you take with the rook, then rook c1, you are doubling rooks against c7, so he takes with the pawn, check. Get the rook in. Rook g4, and now rook h4. That's your target. h5, attack the bishop. Bishop moves. Attack, and now he takes the pawn. Rook h6. Bishop f3, and in his position, Jumabayev resigned. No good move. Bishop can come to h5. e7 is next. Rook e7, bishop h5. And you can also go rook g1. So let's summarize this game. We have the English, and fireworks began so fast. Knight g5, and then we have this. But the fireworks really didn't end well for black, because white got an absolutely dream position. I would say this is an absolutely dream position. Center pawns, bishop pair. you've just got your king out the way. The rook's going to come in the game, absolute dream position. So very slow build up, and knight is now coming in the middle. Yeah, gorgeous position. Look at this configuration. Knight d5, something's going to happen. Take. Now you get this giant center, and you push through. You've got a lot of space. You've got to use it. And this queen is just out of the way. Really cool move, bishop e4. So f5, chuck a pawn, and I mean, it's just an absolute crush from Dubov. Bishop h4, really cool move, just to pin. Get the c file coming through in style. Get the g file as well. You've got the c and the g file and the pass pawn and a perfect bishop. Every single piece is in white's favor. And then later, white just crashed through. Get the pawn. You attack the bishop. This is the last point. That pawn also drops, and then he found a way. Bishop f3. Jumabayev resigned, bishop is coming in. So a total crush from Dubov. Next game was a draw against Kirill Alexenko, 2.5 out of 3. On to round 4. Dubov has white against Evgeny Postny. d4, d5, c4, c6. And we have the Chebanenko Slav. Lots of moves for white here. e3, b3, queen c2. The idea of a6 is to get space quickly with b5, so white puts a stop to that with c5. If you go b5 now, you have the chance to en passant, just breaking up black's structure. c5 played, bishop f5, queen b3. The problem is, if you get this bishop out too early, then the queen actually attacks b7, so black has to play this weird move, go rook a7, knight h4, bishop g6, e3, bishop e2, e5, get the bishop pair. Black has opened the center, he might take or he might go e4, bishop d2, and now time to retreat the queen. Black now opens the center with take, and knight f8. And after castle, knight e6. So cool way to reroute. But this position is open, so it's going to favor the bishop pair. Let's see how Dubov uses this. b6, black needs to break up the structure, he's got to do something, take. h4, g4, getting space. King b1, queen a5, black has queen, rook, bishop, facing the king. g5, attack the knight, and bishop g4. The position is just opening up in white's favor. Knight b6, knight e4, really cool move. Knight b6, with the idea of getting a fourth piece in the attack. Not only the queen, rook, bishop, but the knight can join the party with knight a3 check. So knight e4 is really cool. Can't take because queen takes c6 check. And if rook d7, d5. You attack the knight, and bishop attacks knight as well. So knight e4 is a great move. Knight c4 anyway, threatening knight a3 check, using the pin on the b file. Take with check, take, and it really is the bishop pair. It really is open for white's bishop pair to take advantage. King out the way, and bishop back to c1. Yeah, bishop back to c1, just defend this pawn, and this rook can come in the game. Rook e1. Rook e3 and rook c3. Really cool journey from Dubov. Really cool rook lift. 1, 2, 3. Queen b5. Queen and rook attack this pawn. This bishop is so annoying. Rook e1. Bishop back to e3. Knight b5. I mean, black is attacking white center as well. So, knights versus bishops. Let's see who wins. King out the way. King just steps off the pin. Rook d1. Defending your pawn. Rook back. Rook up. b3, a4, kick the knight away, rook c3. Now coming back in, rook b7, because if you take, I take, so king b2, cool move. Threatening take now. King d7, now he defends it. Rook c1, Alekhine's gun. You got 2 rooks and a queen on the c file. Rook b8. Oh, that's pretty cool. I just spotted this. Both sides actually have Alekhine's gun. I bet that's so rare. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Both sides having queen and 2 rooks on the same file. Wow. King out the way, knight a6. That's the blunder. The knight really needed to defend his knight. And now white is crashing through with bishop takes e6, check. If you take with a pawn, queen takes pawn, which is what happened. And if you take with a king, it's worse. You lose your queen. So bishop takes e6, check. Take. Queen takes. No good way to defend the g7 pawn. Can't go rook here, because queen f7 will pick up the rook. Rook e8, check. Queen back, and queen back. So really cool. What did white just do? He grabbed both g-pawns and said, well, it's time to come back. I'm 2 pawns up. Now I've got 2 runners. Time to run them home. Take. push, queen out of the way, offer a trade, no trade, offer a trade, take, and then you get the exchange. Queen in, lots of checks on the back, on c8, a8, check, check, queen takes a5, game over, attacking both rook and knight. A crushing victory, but very slow middle game build-up. So, a very quick summary. We have the Slav, Chebanenko, and c5. Discouraging en passant. Get the queen out early to attack that spot. Knight h4. And you get the bishop pair. And you castle queenside. Black opens it up. h4, g4 is a real fight because white is attacking on this side. Black is attacking on the queen side. So it's a real fight. What a game. Bishop in g4. Knight e4, really cool move. Take, take, king a1, bishops versus knights. Retreat. Really cool rook lift from Dubov. Rook, get the file. Rook now defends. So a bit of rearranging here. A lot of rearranging, and then king b2, cool move, defend. And cool moment where both sides get Alekhine's gun. King out the way, knight a6, and this was the turning point. And then Dubov crashed through with bishop takes e6, collecting the pawns. Then he dropped the queen back, pushed the pawn, bishop in the way, offer a queen trade, and everything just felt really cool. And then queen takes a5, attacking both knight and rook. So that is, yeah, really cool game. If you're enjoying the video so far, why not give it a like and subscribe to the channel at the same time? If you press the bell, that means YouTube will let you know when I release a new video. Back to the game. 3 draws in rounds 5, 6, 7 against Yu Yangyi, Grigori Oparan, and Timofeyev. Round 8, he scored a victory against Kasper Pioran. Round 9, a draw with Peter Svidler. It's round 10. He now faces Alireza Firouzja. Firouzja has white, Dubov has black. Knight f3, knight f6. We get a fianchetto set up from both sides. And after c5, d4, d6. So King's Indian from Dubov. Knight c6, and we get this central tension. It's just totally resolved right now. Firouzja goes for the capture and bishop f4. Knight h5, you attack the bishop. Bishop g5, attack the bishop again, and bishop e6. So you attack me, but I attack you as well. I mean, it's just symmetrical. Look at the placement of the bishops and the knights. Queen c1. No queen trade. King h7, rook d1. Queen to a5, it defends the pawn as well. Knight d5. The knight looks strong, but we don't want to take it because you allow that pawn in the center, so no. Put the rook facing the queen, knight d2 and b6. Defend your center. Defend your pawn, because with knight d2, Firouzja was planning knight b3 to attack the pawn as well, so b6 is needed. a3 planning rook b1, then b4. Queen out the way, attacking the pawn. h3, rook d8. Position is just full of tension. g4, attack the knight, and here Dubov plays a really cool move. He doesn't move the knight, but he goes bishop takes d5. Bishop takes d5 played. Now first question must be this, because you're attacking both knights. But it's because the rook is facing the queen. Black now has knight d4. Threatening knight e2 check, winning the queen. But after take, there's no time for white to take the knight. Rook attacks queen, queen gets out of the way, and then knight f4, black has a great position. So a really cool move from Dubov, bishop takes d5. Take, knight f6, now you get a tempo. So even though white has the bishop pair, tempo, knight comes back, you attack it, bishop retreats, and now knight d4. Doesn't matter if you have the bishop pair because black's knights are just dancing. This knight is so strong, Firouzja gets rid of it. Take, take. Now the c-file is open for attacking opportunities. Rook c7, queen back to c8. Really cool retreating move, putting pressure this way. Also b5 is now a threat. Knight e4, and he uses the pin. Really cool move here, knight d5. Knight is planning to come into f4. c5, take, take, and knight f4. Threatening to capture. Also d3 ideas, and the bishop can come in the game, and all these pieces are in the game, so really cool position for black. b4, defending knight, and d3. Cool move. Can't take with the knight, take with the pawn, and now bishop d4. The attack's beginning, really, so really cool pawn sacrifice. Give up your d-pawn so the bishop can come in the game. Queen out of the way, take the bishop, take, take, queen f4, attack f7, defend first, d4, thrown a check, and then rook d5. So black actually keeps the rooks. Rook c7, queen b8. Really cool move. because you're attacking both e7, but queen b8 stops the rook moving. Amazing. So queen g3, queen needs to be defended, and now e5, striking the center. Looks like black is the one. He's going to take over the d file. Queen b5, you attack the rook. Queen d7. Look at this, Alekhine's gun again. Remember in the previous game against Postny in that Chevenenko Slav. 2 rooks and a queen on the same file. Take. Queen e6. Rook d7. Very dangerous to have rooks on the 7th rank. Let's put a stop to that. Take, take, take. Relieve the pressure. Push, push, and queen e2. So, it is 4 pawns each, but it doesn't even exist, this pawn, because when we talk about passed pawns, it's really about the quality. And that pawn is further up the board. Black is totally winning. Queen g1. You've got to defend your rook, so rook d3. Now you're attacking h3. Queen e5 check. King out the way, check. Queen g2, and no need to go queen e1 check because white will block with queen g1. Really cool tactic here. Can you see it? Just pause the video now or let the timer bar run. What can black play now? Cool move, rook takes h3 check, just using the pin. Pick up a pawn, and then queen e2. He had enough. If rook takes d2, don't want to take because you lose that, you throw in queen e1 check. And if queen f1, rook h1 check. Totally just sorting this out. Deflection, winning the queen. After queen e2, if queen f1, then you can pick up the pawn. You can even go queen f3. But that looks cool as well. Queen g4 check, and then you pick up the rook, and you come back. Really cool finish. Very, very important victory for Dubov to beat Firouzja with black. So, a quick summary. King's Indian setup. Central tension was resolved. Early capture from Firouzja. Very symmetrical position here. And the key moment was getting the rooks to the center, and then key move coming up, bishop takes d5 with a tactic on the c-file. Knight comes back with tempo, and knight d4, black is taking over using c-file pressure. And then here's a cool move coming up, knight d5, using the pin. It really is all about this pressure. Take, knight f4, and another key moment, brilliant moment, d3. Getting the bishop in the game. Get rid of white's defender. Take, take, take. Now we get this major piece endgame. 5 pawns each. Check. Queen b8, really cool move from Dubov, stopping the rook moving. e5, using the pin. And then here we go. Alekhine's gun. The pressure is too much. 2 rooks on the 7th? No. Let's stop the pressure. Take, take, take. Push, push. And it's about the quality of the passed pawns. Tactic coming up. Boom, rook takes h3. And then queen e2, he had enough. On to the next game. Round 11, a draw against Magnus Carlsen. Round 12, he faces Anton Korobov. Korobov has white. Dubov has black. We have the Nimzo Indian. Players just getting their pieces out on normal squares. A capture in the center a5, good move, attacking the pawn chain. Take, take, b6, bishop b7, queen a8. Really cool setup from black. Queen and rook putting pressure on a7. The rook can come here. Rook to c8, and then we get c5. There's your pawn break, and then the pieces, the black pieces are flowing. Drop the rook back, offer a trade. Knight f4, bishop d6, kick the knight away, rook c8. There's your pawn break for black, and a lot of pressure from Dubov on that file, so this opening is fine for black. Good position. A bit of retreating, there's your pawn break, take, take. Rook a6, and really the key moment is coming up. Lots of pieces are coming off. It's very likely to be a draw, but a cool tactic coming up. Rook d5, and in this position, believe it or not, Korobov blundered with queen takes e4. Black now played rook d1 check, picking up the queen. Now it's not over, check, and then take. Because you get knight and rook for the queen. Check, king comes out, and now queen c5. You attack the rook. Now if the rook moves, then you drop the knight. So knight has to go in the corner, which absolutely sucks. King in the corner, rook f4. Now he doesn't even take the knight yet. He attacks the rook first. Then rook e4, throws in a check, and then he doesn't even take it yet. He can take the knight anytime. Queen d2 first, attack the pawn. Can't go knight f7 because queen takes f2 check. Gonna pick up the knight anyway. Queen d5, and he resigned. Korobov did not want to play this game. He just did not want to play on. And rightly so. No fortress here, you're going to get your pawns moving. h5, king g7, king g6. There's going to be a pawn break, queen d2 as well. Push. 4 against 3, game over. Round 13, a draw against Artemiev. Round 14, Dubov has black against Wang Hao. Knight f3, knight f6. g6, bishop g7, c6 and d5. We have the Grunfeld, knight d2, white defends his pawn. Also the knights defend each other. It's a nice setup. Castle, castle and a5. Getting space on the queen side, anticipating if white goes b3, then black can go a4 to attack that chain. b3, knight e4 first. Attack the knight. Also this bishop is now in the game. Bishop b2, bishop f5, you defend your central knight. Knight h4 and now knight d2. Attacking the rook, queen takes and just drop the bishop back. So a pair of knights have come off. This suits black because he's got less space. f4, going f5, also e4. White is going for space, going for an aggressive setup. Knight d7 played. f5, take, and after e6 the rook moves back f5. Very important. Black plays f5 to stop white playing e4. Take, rook c1, knight f6 coming in. Even though white has the bishop pair and it is open, there's no good way really to use that bishop. Bishop f3, a4, queen e3, queen d7, rook c2. Take, and rook c8. White took with the queen, so then he's gone outside past pawn. Chances for both sides, but I feel it is equal. Rook c1, bishop h6. Good move from Dubov, attacking the rook, putting a question. Take, and rook c5, creating an imbalance. You don't want to take because you take, and then this bishop is now in the game. So no, bishop f8, put a question to the rook. Rook b5, keeping major pieces on the board. Rook c7, defending along the 7th rank. Rook b6, knight e4. Knight is very dangerous. Wang Hao gets rid of it. King g2, bishop g7, you attack this. Rook b5, queen f7. Ideas of coming in? Maybe. Rook b6, bishop h6, coming in. Bishop e3. I think white is in big trouble. Queen f1, queen h5. With this queen move, no queen trade, no way. Rook f7, black is the one getting an attack. Rook e6, rook c2. I said rook here, but actually rook c2 is effective as well. Because with this move, 1, 2. You're attacking e2, king h1. Not only that, you attack the bishop. Double attack. King out the way, rook takes b2. Rook e5, he's just a piece down. Queen moves out the way, offering an exchange. Black is winning. Get out the way, queen f6, and after rook b1 check, game over. Because as the queen left the back rank, now this check is very dangerous. Check, the king goes to h2, and then king goes to g2, and then rook g1 is mate all of a sudden, because with this move, the queen actually guards h3. So very, very close middle game. But Dubov ended up on top. So, summarizing this game. We have the Grunfeld setup against the Fianchetto. c6, d5, nice way to play. Knight d2 castle, and very nice moves from black. These are typical moves against the Fianchetto setup. a5, knight e4, and bishop f5. 1, 2, 3. Knight h4, Wang Hao challenges the bishop. They come off. And bishop e6. This knight trade is very good for black. Because in this position, black has less space. So if a pair of knights come off, then the pressure is dissipating. There's not too much pressure anymore. f4. Aggressive setup. Fair enough. Knight d7. And big change in the structure, which Dubov handled so well. A total change. Take, and e6 with f5. Clamping down. Very important move because you should not give your opponent a pawn break. Take. We come in. Take. Very level. Bishop h6, great move. Challenging the c-file. Pair of rooks come off. If you trade, then this bishop opens up. So no. Bishop f8, good move. Rook c7, a bit passive. Now that knight is dangerous. And now bishop g7. With this move, e5 is a threat. So I guess that's why Wang Hao played rook b5. But now queen f7, some entry squares. Rook b6. Attacking this, but bishop h6. So it's pretty cool what happened. The bishop went to h6, it went back, kicked the rook away, now it's coming back in, coming on the dark squares. Bishop e3, queen f1, queen h5, and even though rook f7 is possible, rook c2 was totally winning here. Picking up the bishop, and then Dubov, cleaned up with rook b1 check, and then Wang Hao resigned, but it is mate with rook g1. In the final round, he got a draw against Shakhmatyarov. So Daniil Dubov, he wins the tournament. 11 out of 15. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. Here is YouTube's suggestion for what to watch next, but maybe you don't like that option. If not, you might like Firouzja beats Carlsen in 29 seconds. If you don't like that one, you might like How to Checkmate Carlsen in 30 seconds.